to be talking about how I passed my NASM CPT exam on the first try. So if you're like me and you're taking your personal training exam for NASM or any other organization, please keep watching because I have a lot of tea to spill. So I'm going to try to keep this video short, sweet, to the point. I chose NASM because it was the best fit for me. I researched almost all of the organizations, and NASM was the only one that fit what I was looking for. I knew I wanted the best. I knew I wanted something that was of high qualification. I researched a lot, and NASM just happened to be the one that I chose. But I would say find what's best for you. If NASM is not the one you want to go with, you don't have to choose NASM. You have ACE, you have ISSA. I mean, there's so many other options that you can choose from. NASM's not the only one, so don't feel pressured to go with NASM. I know a lot of people were like, you have to choose NASM if you want the highest certification. You have to go with NASM if you want to be the best of the best. And I mean, it's not necessarily true. Any organization, it's basically based on the kind of trainer you are and the kind of trainer that you want to be. I think it depends on you. Definitely do your research. Don't just choose one because people are telling you to choose one. Do your research, find out which one you prefer, go about it. So I passed my exam October 4, 2019. So this video is actually really long overdue. That was almost 3 months ago. I know, today makes 3 months. Okay, today makes 3 months since I passed my exam. And I've been putting this video off for a really long time. I was supposed to do it in October and I didn't. So now here I am. I got my little, because I got it offline. I did the self-study online and I got it in June of 2019 and I took my test in October. So about 3.5, almost 4 months of studying. Not gonna lie, when I first got it, I didn't study until about 2-3 weeks later. Just because it was a lot of information, and I double checked with myself. I was like, girl, you sure you want to do this? Because I'm gonna be 100% committed to it. And I went over the material like 3 times before even studying it, just skimming through it, seeing what I was going to be reading, what I was going to be learning, finding out the exams I was going to be taking, all that kind of stuff first. At the first 3 weeks I had it, and then I was like, okay, I want this certification, let's do it, let's go. And then I started studying probably the first week of July, and that's when I studied all the way up until taking my exam. How did I pass my exam? I would say lots of prayer, lots of manifestations, lots of telling myself, hey, you're gonna pass it, don't worry, you're gonna pass it. Lots of speaking as if I already passed it. Like I didn't even take the exam yet and I was already thinking about like clients and figuring out my business name, all that type of stuff. I was already like claiming it basically. So if you're a prayer like me, pray on it, manifest on it, but don't, faith without work is dead. You have to work for it, you have to study basically. Don't listen to a lot of people that are telling you, oh, just skim through it and you'll pass it. That's not true. At least in my case, it's not true. Especially if you want to take the material and really learn it, not just for the exam, but as a future trainer, it's really important for you to study the material. When I started studying it, I was that person. Like if I could go back, I would probably change up how I first started studying, because in all honesty, it's really, really easy to study the material that you don't necessarily need. Not saying that you don't need none of the material, but it's really easy to fall off track and study stuff that you know you kind of could be good without for the exam's sake. Now for actually being a trainer, you probably need to know it, but for the exam's sake, you know, I was that person. I wrote down every single vocabulary word. I wrote down every single like fact, all the stuff that was like highlighted. I wrote it down and highlighted. I made tons and tons of note cards, and I have them here with me. Like, I mean, this is by itself over 500 note cards because I was so like look at that. That's just one stack, and I mean, like, it's a lot. So yeah, I studied that, and I also made this little board to kind of help me. So that was very, very helpful for me. I'm a visual learner. I learn better when I see it. So writing stuff out like that board and writing the note cards out and doing a lot of writing stuff down from what I read helped me a lot, because if I had just read it and lived with it, 9 times out of 10 I would have forgot it and I wouldn't have remembered it, and I probably would not have passed. Also, I'm a singer, so quickest way for me to learn, make it into a song. And that's exactly what I did for the upper cross syndrome and the lower cross syndrome, which you're going to need to know. And the pronation syndrome, I made it into a song. And while I was taking the test, while I was studying every day, every single day, I would sing the song. When I was in the grocery store, singing the song. In the gym, singing the song. It's really easy to study when you find ways to remember the material. Yeah, and I'm upset because I told myself to bring my notebook with me and I didn't. My notebook has literally all the things that I wrote down, and I'll actually insert a clip of it right now. So as I mentioned, here's the notebook that I used. As you can see, I did these chapters, I color coded them chapter by chapter. This is how much writing I did. You do not have to write as much as I did. Like I said, I probably did a little bit too much, but it helps. These are just different tricks and tips I use for the overactive and underactive muscles during the overhead squat syndrome, pushing and pulling assessments, the gait assessment, pronation syndrome, lower and upper cross syndrome, different assessment tricks that I wrote down. Stages of change, you are going to need to know the stages of change. I got so many questions just off of this one alone. I just wrote a list of things from different videos that I watched of what I needed to know. So it's like OPT model, the heart to blood flow, planes of movement, muscle actions, a lot of good stuff. You need to know the different tests, Davies test, Stark skills test, what's the difference between them, altered reciprocal inhibition, synergistic dominance, and orthokinetic dysfunction is very, very important. The general adaptation syndrome is very important to know. You need to know periodization cycles, like the annual plan, monthly plan, weekly plan. Also, I went online and I printed out all of this stuff that comes with it, and it was so helpful for me, and I'm pretty sure it'll be helpful for you as well. This one has the pronation, lower cross, and upper cross syndrome, and then the dynamic squat assessments, which is really, really important. If a client has overactive or underactive muscles, this tells you how to fix it and what stretches to do, so know that. Also, if you can, print out this sheet right here. It gives you 5 tips to passing the exam, and I kid you not, they really, really, really are true. This right here is your best friend. I split mine up. It's 6 different domains. I split mine up just so that I could study each one separately. And I also wrote down what percentage of the exam each domain was. Trust me, all of it is on the exam. Whether it's 1 question, 2 questions, all of it is on the exam. This is actually where I got a lot of my flashcards from. I just basically took these and put them in flashcards, and I studied them that way. But what I think you should study, a little bit of everything. Whether you skim over it or whether you actually sit down like me and learn it, teach it to yourself, I would suggest a little bit of everything. Now, another thing that I would do differently, I would not read the book. Like, I didn't have the physical book, I had it online, but I probably would not read it cover to cover, simply because it's a lot of information to learn at once and it's really overwhelming. You need to know your muscles. You need to know the overactive, the underactive muscles. You need to know the upper cross, lower cross syndrome, pronation syndrome. You need to know the OPT model. I'm telling you, when I was watching videos, they stressed on the OPT model, and I was like, when I get this, I want to see if it's really about to. Let me tell you, know the OPT model. It is so important. It covers a lot of the exam. You need to know, like right here, you need to know the phases. You have phases 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You need to know which phases are which. You need to know reps, sets, intensity, rest, tempo, what exercises. Like, I have exercises written down in them. You need to know what exercises go through in each one. and you need to be able to identify your muscles. You need to know what muscle is what does the heart do, the stretching techniques. As far as nutrition, on my exam, I don't know how yours is going to be, but on my exam, but see, this is unfair because I took my exam 3 months ago, so I kind of remember what was on it, but at the same time I don't, which is why I wish I made this video when I took the exam because it was fresh. I don't really remember if I had any questions on nutrition. I probably had like maybe 3 questions, maybe 3 on nutrition, but it's still important for you to know. What not to do. Don't assume you can take this test without at least studying something. Like I said, there's a lot of people that'll tell you to just look at a few pages and then go take the test. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Before taking this exam, I knew nothing. I mean nothing at all. When I opened that online thing, I was like, girl, I don't know what none of this is. I don't know what this means. I've never heard of this. But if you're somebody who's been training and you're somebody who's been in the gym a lot longer than me, the test might be a little bit easier for you because you know a lot more. But I would still say, don't assume that you're just gonna pass it. You're gonna have to take the test at a testing location, at a PSI location. So make sure when you go to schedule your test that it's somewhere located near you. I know some people have to go out of town. Luckily for me, there's one about 10-15 minutes from where I live, so I didn't have to travel far at all. When you go to take the test, you can't bring your phone. I know for me, I had a hoodie on and I had to take off my hoodie. There's 120 questions on the exam. Some people said 20 of them didn't count, but they lying. Whoever said that is lying, because on my test, all 120 questions came from the book. Not one question was unfamiliar. You have 120 minutes to take the exam. I took my exam, I finished it in about 30-45 minutes. But I was so nervous to press submit that I sat there for like another 15 minutes just staring at the screen. I went back like twice, double checking all 120 questions, making sure they all had answers, making sure they all had the right answer. And then I was like, you know what, I prayed on it and I clicked submit and I walked out. And I told the lady, I was like, I'm so nervous. And she was like, you passed. And I freaked out. So also at the end of your studying, you have a practice exam, which is just like the exam. It has 120 questions. You have 120 minutes. I tried to make sure I could get 100 on each one, if not just pass all of them. I will say, I think maybe 1 or 2 questions, don't quote me on this, don't go take this exam saying I told you this, because I didn't. On my personal exam, there were probably 2 questions, maybe 3 questions that came from the practice exam. Also, get you the app called Pocket Prep. This is the one that I had. Any advice, study the material, know the material. If you're a prayer, pray on it. Make it colorful, especially if you're a visual person. Get some highlighters, get some Sharpies, some color pencils, whatever you need that's bright, and just have fun with it. I think that's all that I had to talk about. Like I said, I wanted to keep this video super short, and I'll probably watch this video be like 15 minutes or 20 minutes, and I'm sorry about that. But yeah, just have fun, take the test, you got it, don't stress. And let me know if this video helped you, and once you take the exam, if you pass, come back, let me know so we can all celebrate together, all us little personal trainers. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully I didn't talk too much. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at GeminiXFit. I'll definitely be posting on there a lot more, as well as here. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Thanks guys for watching.